You know what? I'm a little disappointed. After going through this entire movie, this entire Deadpool movie, I didn't see one chimichanga. But besides that, it was really good. It's lazy time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review a stack about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm LazyDude99 and this is my review of Deadpool. Holy crap, we have gotten a Deadpool movie and it is probably everything we could have ever wanted. Before we get into the actual movie, I just want to tell you my history with Deadpool. Now, I would be able to say that I liked Deadpool before he was cool, but no, Deadpool was always cool. I found Deadpool, the first time I found him was in the video game Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You got to play as him, and I looked at him and I thought to myself, he looks like a character that I have no idea who he is, but if I start playing as him, I'll probably love him. And I don't really know if I have enough in me to love another character. Then I started playing as him, and he was like the most hilarious character in the game. If you guys have played the game, you know that scene where he's talking to the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents trapped in their own cells. Hilarious. But anywho, I became a fan of the character. I liked reading him in comics. I wasn't a humongous over fan, but I was a casual Deadpool fan. And then I was super excited to see him when he was portrayed by Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins Wolverine. And boy, did that go wrong so fast. It started out really good. It started out, he had good quips, he was funny, Ryan Reynolds really seemed to feel like the character, and then they did the worst thing they could possibly do. They sewed up his mouth and... who would want to watch that? But we can forget about all that except in poking good fun because we've finally gotten the Deadpool movie that we deserved. Ryan Reynolds is back as Deadpool, and this movie takes the Deadpool story but goes at it in a different way than, let's say, X-Men Origins Wolverine. A good way. So Ryan Reynolds plays Wade Wilson. He is a mercenary for hire who falls in love with this girl named Vanessa. Everything is going great. They're having a great relationship, blah-de-da-de-da. Then all of a sudden he realizes that he has cancer and he's going to die. He runs into this guy who tells him, hey, we can cure you and actually make you a superhero. All you got to do is come with us and go to our shady organization that you know nothing about. Good stuff always happens when that goes on. In any case, he discovers very quickly that this is not a place to help him, it is there to help themselves, where they try to bring out a mutation in their victims and then sell their superpowers to the highest bidder by brainwashing them. There are some events I don't really want to get into because, this is the spoiler-free part of the review. Wade escapes from this facility and he wants to return to the one that he loves, but he finds himself unable to do that because he looks like, well, let's just say they have more colorful commentary describing what he looks like than I would actually be able to say, because I don't swear. So he thinks the only way that he can win her back is if he finds the guy that did this to him and make him reverse what he did. So does the Deadpool movie live up to the hype? I would say yes. I would say yes. Like, as I said in my predictions video, I didn't think this was going to be like one of the greatest superhero movies ever made, even though a lot of people are calling it that. I was saying it was going to be a fun ride with some good acting and good characters, and that's all I was looking forward to, and that's definitely what I got from this movie. Now, this movie did have scenes where it kind of surprised me in how serious it took itself at some parts, especially the scenes where he's being turned into Deadpool, when they're trying to bring out his mutant gene. I'm like, man, that's some sick stuff. I feel bad for laughing at this character a little while ago. But you know what? The humor is on point. It is full Deadpool. I really want to know how much percent-wise was script and how much was just Ryan Reynolds spouting off, because Ryan Reynolds has been wanting to play this character for a long time. I remember when I was like, I don't even remember, like 16, 14, somewhere in my early teens, I was watching E-Talk which is like, I would say it's like Entertainment Tonight, but for Canada, except there already is an Entertainment Tonight Canada. But basically, it's a gossip and, movie talk show, and I only watched it because it was the only movie news that I got back in the day before my family had internet. But I remember hearing him say, like, it was around the time where the superhero movies were starting to build a little bit buzz. I think it was around Iron Man when he said this in an interview. He's like, they asked him if you could play any superhero, who would you play? And he said outright, Deadpool, 100%. I would love to play Deadpool. And I can honestly say that I don't think this movie would have happened if it wasn't for Ryan Reynolds really wanting this character done right and really wanting him brought to the screen. So how does he do? Perfect Deadpool. He has the humor right, he has the characterizations right, he's able to play Wade Wilson to a point where he does have more than just the jokes, Deadpool sometimes can just be used as just jokes and that's it, no actual development, but there are times where the character lets out the darker undertones of what happened to him and what is he going through and stuff like that, and Ryan Reynolds definitely brings that. This movie it's also paced interesting because they go like, from the very beginning is the scene that we saw in the test footage with a little bit more. With, by the way, the opening credits here, I don't want to give it away, but absolutely incredible. The opening credits, so funny. I mean, it set the tone for the whole movie and I was already laughing before any character had said a line of dialogue. I mean, how many times does that happen in a movie? But anyway, we start off with that scene in the trailer where he's killing a whole bunch of people in cars, and then we flash back. We get some backstory on Wade Wilson, and we get some backstory on what he went through and the villains and what he's going through. It's interesting because in the end, the villain doesn't really have a overarching plan. He just has his operations, and Deadpool is out for blood, and so he has to kind of try to stop Deadpool. It's not like the villain has like a plot to destroy the hero and take over the world. He just is a bad dude trying to exploit mutations so he can not take over the world, but make a whole lot of money, basically. I like the villain. I think he's good. His name is Francis, and I will never forget that name. If you've seen the movie, you know why. I think he does a good job. I guess he could have used a little bit more development. He's a little bit of the type of, I'm evil, fear me type villain. But you know what? He's used well. He's the means to the end for Deadpool to do stuff. And you know what? I like him. Yeah, I think he's fine. Okay, I just gotta ask you, because I don't know if anybody else is. What universe is this in? You might be like, dude, obviously it's the X-Men universe. You see Colossus and you see the Xavier Institute and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but that really looks like in the final fight an old helicarrier that they're fighting on. And the helicarriers looks like a recto helicarrier left over from Captain America. Is this movie bridging the universes? Deadpool would not be the best movie to do that. But anywho, Colossus is in this movie, and he has a trainee that he's taking under his care. Her name's something like Supersonic Atomic Warhead, something like that. And they basically join the team. It's a little bit like Colossus keeps on trying to tell Deadpool to join the team. I'm like, Colossus, really? This guy is a murderer. He's killing tons of people. There's a scene where he's like killing a lot of people right then. And I'm like, you're still wanting him on the team? Shouldn't you be like, trying to get him arrested? Is it just because he has mutant powers that you're like going easy on him? I don't know. But in the end, I don't really need to ask that many questions because the movie, while it takes itself seriously in some ways, in other ways it really doesn't. It goes balls to the wall, literally, in a lot of ways. The pacing of this movie is really good. It feels like we're constantly going and going, and there's never really a dull moment. Now, I'm not saying there isn't times when the movie slows down. There are times when the movie slows down. I mean, it's like, there's never a moment where I'm just like, oh, come on, get on, come on, let's go, go. It's funny, it's creative, it's Deadpool, 100%. If you were a fan of Deadpool, I'd definitely say see it, unless here's the thing. It's a rated R movie, and yes, there's gore, yes, there's swearing, those things don't really bother me a whole lot. The stuff that bothers me is the sex and nudity. Now, there isn't like a ton, but there's enough that it's bothersome. You know, it's not like a movie where you see like 5 seconds and you're like, well, okay, I can just like blink and it's gone. It's like, there's enough there where you're like, okay, I'm nosing it. And I'm not a fan of that. I'm just saying, if you want either, it's in there, be warned. It should go without saying, don't bring your kids to this movie. Duh, don't be an idiot. Somebody must have taken their kid to this movie. There must be some idiot out there that did that. But also, let's go to the other his girlfriend, Vanessa, played by that girl from Firefly and Gotham, whose name I can't remember. She plays Vanessa in this movie, and she's Wade Wilson's girlfriend. Now, she's really good, and I really feel their chemistry. I feel like they have a relationship. I said in my predictions video that... Okay, I'll talk about that in the spoilers. So let's just wrap this part of the review up. I would say that Deadpool is definitely a movie worth seeing if you are a fan of the character. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good action. There is other stuff in it that I'm not a big fan of, but, you know, it's... What are you going to do? That's all I have to say about Deadpool. So I am giving Deadpool a 7 out of 10. It's a good movie. Some people might say, dude, give it a higher rating. I'm like, the villain isn't too interesting for me. He's menacing, not really charismatic. The things that make it stand out is Deadpool himself as a character. He's a great character. If you took Deadpool out and just kept the movie as, you know, replaced Deadpool with some generic hero, the movie would probably suffer a lot because of that. But you can't take that away from the movie because the movie does have Deadpool, and he is awesome, and he does do awesome stuff. So that's the, you take the good, you take the bad, and I think that overall it's a good movie. So 7 out of 10 is my rating for it. So now I'm going to go on to the spoiler part of the review. If you guys have not seen this movie and you want to, I would say definitely see it before you continue on with the spoilers. If not, you have been warned. So, the thing about Vanessa that I was saying, I was like, well, I don't think Deadpool should have a girlfriend in the end, you know? I don't necessarily want her to die, but, you know, there's got to be something, because Deadpool's just... If he gets the girl in the end, that doesn't feel like a Deadpool ending. Well, he does get the girl in the end, and... You know what? I thought I was okay with it, because actually I really liked her Vanessa as a character, and I thought that she was really good, and I really liked how she worked off of Wade, and I was actually happy that they got together. Now, in the sequel, I don't know what they're going to do with her. You know, either she'll get kidnapped again, which will lead her to be a damsel of the distress character. One, you're not a damsel in distress. That's just, you're related to the hero. But twice in 2 movies, you're a damsel in distress, no matter what you say. I don't know, maybe they'll have whoever's the villain in Deadpool 2 kill her, or maybe Deadpool will be placed at a time, because as they said in the end credit scene, Cable might be in the movie, played by Keira Knightley. Interesting. But basically there are ways that they could write her other story. I just don't really see where her character has a future in the movie. Besides that, I guess I would say the movie is a little predictable. I could really see where it was going. Some of the side characters were pretty pointless. But in the end, I found the movie entertaining. I liked it. I walked out with a smile. I walked out laughing because of those end credits that had the cartoon Deadpool doing funny stuff. And that end credit scene that was making fun of Ferris Bueller. And the part where Deadpool shoots the villain in the head because Colossus was monologuing. There's a lot to really like about this film. A lot of funny scenes, a lot of good moments. I think they might have showed a little bit too much in the trailers. Because, you know, there were scenes that got big laughs in the theater and I wasn't laughing as hard because I had seen it in the trailer and I knew it was coming. One thing, though, this movie must be doing pretty well, because I was going to see it yesterday, and it was sold out, and so I had to see it today. And I'm like, sheesh, like, even Star Wars The Force Awakens wasn't sold out in my theater. To be fair, that it had 2 screens. It was being shown in two different screens, so, you know, there was a lot more people. If there was one screen, it would have been sold out. But yeah, I was like, I couldn't even remember the last movie that I went to that was sold out. So it must be doing well, seems to be doing well at the box office, seems to have broken a record for an R-rated movie. I don't know if it's the record yet, but whatever. I'm thumbs up all around for this film. I don't really need to say a whole lot else. If you've seen it, tell me what you think about it below in the comments. If you liked it, tell me that. If you disliked it, tell me when you're going to check yourself into an insane asylum. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's all I have to say. That was my review of Deadpool. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm LazyDude99. Adios.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.